If you were to think about some of the biggest fears of a narcissist, what would come to mind? The fear of being exposed, the fear of losing their sources of supply, the fear of losing control over you and others, the fear of losing money, and the stability that comes with it. But these are the fears that are known to everybody. What about their inner fears they do not want you to know about? Let's talk about those in this episode. Hi, I am Danish, a narcissistic abuse recovery professional. The topic for today's episode is 5 inner fears of a narcissist they do not want you to know. Number 5 is the biggest one, so stay until the very end. Number 1, the fear of losing their youth. And with losing their youth comes the fear of losing their appearance, how their body looks, their charm, their confidence, and their strength. I'm not talking about the general fear people have towards old age. I know everybody wants to stay young. I get it. But the narcissist's fear of losing their youth is something separate. It is their paranoia. It comes with delusional anxiety. I'll explain that in a minute. They do not want to get old because getting old means losing power. Getting old means losing supply, especially for somatic and sexual narcissists who bait their different sources of fuel through their body. They become obsessed with their looks as they age. You will find them constantly looking at their reflection, measuring every inch of increase or decrease in their body. Calorie consciousness becomes their way of living, not a calorie more or less. They have to keep it as recommended by their dietitian or as they think it should be. Now, I am not saying it's bad to become health conscious or being a health conscious person makes you a narcissist. Not necessarily. What I'm trying to point out is their delusion, the fear of facing their reality. The reality is you're getting old. Instead of embracing it, they run away from it. It's in their nature. They have been running from their shame. They've been running from their insecurity. So why wouldn't they run away from what is coming for them, from what is inevitable? Male and female narcissists all alike get a lot of body work done. I'm talking about plastic surgery to retain their charm, to preserve their good looks. They hate any and everything that changes their body shape. For example, a female narcissist who on one hand wants to have children, but on the other hand hates getting pregnant. Why? Because that changes her abdominal shape and it gives her stretch marks. Now, I know that is a loss in itself for a woman to look differently. I get it. But this narcissistic woman takes that hatred out on the child. You are the one who destroyed my body. A normal, non-narcissistic mother doesn't do that. They try to stay young, not because they want to spend more time with their family or they want to live a healthy and an easy life, but to keep supply coming. Without supply, they cannot exist. Number 2, they fear losing health. It's universally known, health is wealth. But for a narcissist, it is everything. It's beyond wealth. Why? They hate vulnerability. They hate dependency. Yes, in certain situations, they become vulnerable, which we'll talk about later. But overall, they do not want to depend on you, or they do not want you to think they depend on you. The thought of old age, fragility, dependency makes them feel weak, which challenges their false self. So what do? They become obsessed with keeping fit. Their health anxiety is delusional in nature because it becomes hypochondriasis. The sensations in their body make them think they have a certain problem like cancer or some kind of tumor, and they obsessively search on Google, what do these symptoms mean? What could this possibly be? And they run many blood tests, go to doctors to find out, rule out what's wrong with them so that they can get it cured. I'm not saying all people who struggle with health anxiety are narcissists. Of course not. Then I would be a narcissist because I struggle with it. I have struggled with it a lot in the past as well. What I'm saying is that those narcissists who do not want to be weak, who do not want to depend on others, become health freaks. It becomes a problem when they force it on you as well. And that's why I called it delusional paranoia. They're so paranoid that they would control not only their food choices, but your food choices as well. They project the resentment they feel towards their fears onto you. How? By restricting what you eat. They feel jealous towards you. So they always shame you, harass you, blame you for eating something they think is unhealthy. A quick announcement before I move to number 3. An intensive workshop on how to heal after narcissistic abuse in 5 practical steps is happening soon. In this workshop, I'll spend 2 days with you and I'll help you learn how to move forward in your life, how to heal those traumas and become whole again. Stay notified because the booking is going to start very soon. Number 3, becoming irrelevant in their zone of influence and domain of control. What am I talking about? I'm talking about their work. If they think they'll become irrelevant, what do? They create chaos, they create unnecessary competition. They get closer to the person who is on the highest level in the hierarchy, who has the maximum power to remain their ally, because that is what will get them the most benefit. They fear becoming irrelevant in their own family. As their children grow, they know the control will be lost because you can't reprimand them anymore. You can't silence them anymore. If they're not narcissists, they're not going to enable you. They're not going to be there for you all the time. So they fear losing that kind of ownership. They fear losing that kind of authority. And you will see it. It becomes visible on their face at a certain time in their life. They fear becoming irrelevant in these trendy times. They want to stay updated. They want to stay with, let's say, Gen Z or whatever. They may be from a different generation, but will not feel a sense of belonging there. Why? Well, it doesn't get them a lot of supply. They do not want to be forgotten, because if they're forgotten, then how will they remain important? So you will see them changing. You will see them shape-shifting. You will see them turning into an entirely different person that fits the scenario. You need to understand this is the reason why they get to the top level. They can adapt very easily. Yes, it's a fake adaptation, but they are opportunistic in nature. And in today's corporate world, unfortunately, that is what you need to do if you want to earn tons of money and gain fame. Not saying that's the right thing to do, I'm just pointing out the truth that that's what is going on. Number 4, losing control over their children. The thought of not being able to dictate things in your life makes them feel really powerless and vulnerable. That's the reason why they hate it when you get married. They hate it when you get into a relationship. They want you all for themselves, and there is emotional incest. They want you to remain in that toddler stage and cry for mommy or daddy's attention. They cannot let you individuate. They cannot let you have a personality. And that is why they mellow down a little bit when they feel the control dynamics are shifting and you are taking over, because they do not want to be thrown out. Well, not all narcissists mellow down, because most of them become horrible with age. They can't digest the truth and ever-shifting reality. They just revolt and rebel, which always backfires. Those who are planned and those who know what they need to do to survive mellow down and please you, try to somehow gaslight you against those you're supposed to love, which could be your wife, which could be your husband or your children. They desperately try to keep you only for themselves. Number 5, and the most important one, they fear losing the validation of their victim state. This is mostly applicable to covert vulnerable narcissists. You know who covert narcissists are? These are those narcissists who are not arrogant overtly or openly. They do not walk on earth as if they are the creator of it. No, they'll be shy, they are humble, they are timid, they don't like attention. Well, they do, but a different form of it. You won't feel you're dealing with a narcissist when dealing with a cold one for the first time. Anyways, so this type of a narcissist thrives on their victimhood. They have to be recognized as the biggest victim in any given situation. Woe is them, they have been deceived, they have been abandoned, they have been neglected, they have been abused. Everything bad has happened to them. That is what they want to be echoed. That's what they want to hear from you. If by any chance you ask them, what are you doing about your life? Just take a stand, do something. Okay, that happened, I understand it, you have all my empathy, but change your circumstances, take a step. Nope, you become the enemy. Right there and then you're discarded or devalued because they can't take any responsibility. You know that. I do not need to explain it any further. So they fear losing the validation of victimhood. Why? Because if others believe they are the victim, they'll get infinite supply. Everybody would cater to their needs. Oh, she is a victim, he is sick, he is this, he is that. Come, let's cry for him or her. Let's do what is needed to keep them alive. That is the gratification of their ego. Everybody is serving me. I'm the secret person here. I'm the wolf in sheep's clothing. Nobody knows what my intentions are. I'm not struggling, but see, I made a fool out of them. I must be so intelligent. That's how a covert narcissist thinks. So they fear losing it, which is why they intermittently love bomb the person who is enabling their victimhood. Oh, I love you. You're the only person in my life. You're my favorite child. You're my best person, so on and so forth. That was number 5. With that, let's bring this episode to an end. And before you leave, I'm curious to know which one of these fears have you observed in the narcissist that you were dealing with, and what do you think of those back then? Let me know down below, and I will talk to you in the next one. Until then, as always, let the healing begin and continue.